Welcome to the Global War Watch Network. The U.S. Army just handed BAE Systems a massive $493 million deal to ramp up production of powerful self-propelled howitzers and ammo carriers. And today we're going to explore why this move could really redefine future battlefield dominance.
Absolutely. It's a huge investment.
Yeah, so today we're really digging into the details of this significant military acquisition. We'll be looking closely at the U.S. Army's M109A7 Paladin howitzer.
And its vital partner, the M992A3 ammunition carrier, the one they often call the CAT.
Right, the CAT. So our mission really is to understand their core capabilities, trace how they've evolved.
And see how they stack up against other big artillery systems around the world.
Exactly. We want to figure out what makes these systems so critical for modern warfare and what this continuing investment signals for future battlefields. So to really get a handle on this latest contract, we probably need to step back and look at the whole M109 system's history.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, its roots go way back to the 1960s. It's been around.
But this M109A7 Paladin, that's the latest and greatest version.
It is. And it's not just a minor tweak either. It's the core of this big modernization push called the Paladin Integrated Management Program, PIM, that kicked off back in 2007.
Okay, PIM. So what makes this version, the A7, such a big leap forward for U.S. artillery?
Well, that's exactly where the PIM program really aimed to make a difference. Adam Zarfos over at BAE Systems, he's the director of artillery programs. He pointed out the core problem they were trying to solve. The older M109A6, its predecessor, it had some pretty serious limitations.
Like what kind of limitations?
Mainly around space, weight, and critically electrical power. The A6 only generated about 18.5 kilowatts.
Okay, that doesn't sound like much for modern systems.
It really wasn't. It often struggled just to power itself. But the M109A7, it bumps that way up to 70 kilowatts.
70. Wow, that's a huge jump.
It is. And that leaves a solid 40 kilowatts of reserve power, which makes you ask, why is that specific power boost so vital for the kinds of combat environments we're looking at down the road?
Right. What kind of demands are actually driving that need for so much extra power? What's it going to be used for?
Well, it's really all about enabling truly networked warfare, integrating all the cutting-edge military tech.
Okay.
That 70 kilowatts lets them run advanced command control, communications, computers, the whole C4I suite.
Gotcha. The brains of the operation.
Exactly. That stuff is essential for making quick decisions, for plugging seamlessly into the wider battlefield network. It ensures the Paladin can actually work effectively in these really complex, data-heavy situations. It's about being, future-proof.
Okay. Future-proofing makes sense.
Yeah.
But beyond just the power, I found this other aspect really interesting.
Commonality.
Ah, yes, the logistics angle.
Yeah, the M109A7 shares a lot of key parts with the Bradley fighting vehicle, right?
Okay.
Specifically the latest upgraded ones, the ECP2 package. That's right. Big components, like the 675 horsepower Cummins V903 engine, the L3 HMPT 800 transmission.
And even smaller bits, undercarriage parts.
Yeah, road arms, road wheels, torsion bars, even newly designed final drives. They share quite a bit.
That sounds fantastic from a maintenance and supply perspective, like a logistician's dream. But are there any potential downsides, any challenges maybe from tying these two really critical systems so closely together, like maybe for future upgrades or vulnerabilities?
That's a fair question.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, you always have to consider dependencies, but honestly, the benefits here seem to far outweigh potential drawbacks.
Okay.
Your point about independent upgrades is smart, but because they're both standardized to that ECP2 level, future upgrades often get synchronized anyway, which can actually simplify things, not complicate them.
I see.
This shared lineage just makes maintenance and supply chains way easier. Fewer types of spare parts needed, more efficient training. It's a huge win for the Army. Saves money, keeps things ready to go.
Makes sense.
And what's also really clever is how the PIM program didn't just start from scratch. It smartly reused tech from past investments.
Oh, right. Stuff from those canceled programs, like the non-line-of-sight cannon, the NLOSC, and the Crusader program.
Exactly. Those were ambitious projects. For anyone not familiar, the NLOSC was meant to be this revolutionary, super mobile cannon, quick deployment.
And Crusader was focused on extreme range and super fast firing, wasn't it?
It was. Huge ambitions. But even though they were terminated, key tech found a new home in the M109A7.
So what kind of elements are we talking about? What actually got carried over?
Things like the advanced 600-volt electric drive systems for the turret. That was a big one.
Moving away from hydraulics?
Right. Hydraulics can be leaky, need more maintenance. Electric drives are just more reliable.
Okay.
And it wasn't just about reliability. Those electric drives also made it possible to integrate a semi-automated projectile loader and rammer.
Ah, speeding things up.
Well, yes, but also improving accuracy. Because the electric system gives you much more consistent, precise seeding of the projectile in the gun tube.
Meaning a better launch.
Exactly. A perfect launch every time, ideally. It's a great example of how, even canceled R&D isn't necessarily wasted money. It can pay off later.
Yeah, that's smart resource management. So this whole PM program, it sounds like it's been quite the journey from just an idea to actually getting these things fielded.
Oh, it has. A long road.
Can you maybe walk us through some of the key steps, the milestones in its development and getting it out to the troops, from those early prototypes to aiming for this pure fleet idea?
Sure. It shows real sustained commitment. BAE Systems got an R&D contract back in August 2009, about $64 million for the initial prototype.
Okay.
Delivered those by May 2011. That led to low-rate initial production, LRIP, starting in October 2013.
And the first actual vehicle delivery.
That was April 2015. Now, there were some hiccups, some initial production quality issues that needed ironing out.
Often happens with complex systems.
It does. But they worked through it. And full-rate production, FRP, officially kicked off in February 2020.
And they've been building them steadily since.
Absolutely. By 2021, BAE had already delivered the 300th vehicle set. That's one Paladin and one Cat. The Army's goal is to get 580 sets total, completely replacing the older models.
A pure fleet of A7s and A3s.
That's the plan. And that big $493 million contract from November 2023, that's specifically for more production, keeping the line running through 2025, really cementing that transition.
Shows they're serious about it.
Definitely. Unwavering confidence in the platform.
Okay, so a howitzer, no matter how advanced, it needs ammo. Lots of it. That brings us to the M992A3 Field Artillery Ammunition Supply Vehicle.
The FAASV, or the CAT.
Right, the CAT. Derived from its official name, Carrier Ammunition Tracked. This thing really seems to be the dedicated ammo bearer for the M109A7.
It's absolutely essential, and its own evolution is just as important as the Paladins. You have to remember what it replaced.
The old M548.
Yeah. Exactly. An unarmored supply vehicle, replaced way back in '82. The M992A3, though, is purpose-built.
Yeah.
It's got armor made of 5083 aluminum alloy.
So actual protection for the crew and the ammo?
Critical protection. It carries 90 to 95 rounds of those big 155mm projectiles, plus the charges and fuses needed to fire them.
That's a lot of explosive material.
It is. And, thinking about the M992A3, it really formalizes a role that's always been vital in the military, even informally.
How so?
Well, I've seen discussions online, like on Reddit, where soldiers talk about the ammo bearer role. Even for smaller stuff, like machine guns or mortars, that guy carrying the extra ammo is crucial.
The unsung hero keeping the weapon firing.
Exactly. The M992A3 does that same critical job for the big guns, but it's designed for it, with armor and everything.
So besides just carrying the ammo safely, what else makes the newer CAT models better? What are the practical improvements?
Well, funny story about the older M992s. They had this hydraulic conveyor system to move the shells.
Handheld.
You'd think so, but crews often found it was actually slower than just loading by hand. And sometimes they'd just remove it.
Huh. Okay.
So the newer M992A3s, they listened, they took the conveyor out entirely, and they redesigned the rear doors.
How so?
Instead of one big hatch, it now has two vertical opening doors. Offers better protection for the crew when they're transferring ammo, especially if things are, getting dicey.
Makes sense. Cover while you work.
And critically, it has its own power unit, a small two-stroke diesel auxiliary power unit, an APU.
For itself. Or?
Both. It can power the M992A3's own systems, and it can power the M109A7 howitzer using the slave cable.
Oh, interesting. Why do that?
Saves fuel on the main howitzer engine when it's just sitting there waiting to fire between missions. It's a neat piece of the logistical puzzle, boosts efficiency and sustainment.
Very clever. Okay, so let's swing back to the star of the show, the M109A7 itself. What are we looking at in terms of core combat abilities? What can this thing actually do?
All right, firepower. It's got that powerful 155mm M284 cannon on an M192A1 mount. Standard NATO caliber.
Firing rate.
It can sustain about 1 round per minute. But in a burst, it can push out 4 rounds per minute.
Okay, and range. How far can it reach out?
With standard shells, about 22 kilometers. If you use rocket-assisted projectiles, that stretches out to 30 kilometers.
And precision. Can it hit specific targets?
Absolutely. It's fully compatible with precision munitions, like the Excalibur round, GPS-guided pinpoint accuracy, that's a game changer.
Definitely. What about keeping the crew safe?
Survivability is a major focus. It has crucial shoot-and-scoot capability. Fire off a few rounds, then quickly move position before the enemy can fire back on yours.
Counter battery fire is a big threat.
Huge. So mobility after firing is key. It also has improved modular armor kits you can add on, a gunner protection kit, and an automatic fire extinguishing system inside. Safety first.
Got it. Now, to really place the M109A7, it helps to look around and see what other countries are using, right?
Yeah, context is important.
That 2025 Dominating the Battlefield report by Rani Ziada for Defense Arabia really hammered home how central self-propelled artillery is now, demanding mobility, precision, network integration.
It did, and it highlighted 9 top systems globally. Shows you there isn't just one way to build an effective howitzer. Lots of different design ideas out there.
So who are some of the other big players? How do their approaches maybe contrast with the Paladin?
Well, you've got Germany's PZH-2000, often called the gold standard, entered service back in '98, known for really rapid fire, great precision, lots of automation.
Downside.
It's heavy, around 55, maybe 60 tons. That can affect how easily you can move it around strategically, like by air.
Okay, who else?
Then there's Sweden's Archer system, FH-77BW. That's actually made by BAE Systems Bofors, funnily enough. First delivered in 2013.
What's its focus?
Mobility. It's wheeled, not tracked. And it's designed for super fast deployment and shoot and scoot, like under 30 seconds to get in, fire, and get out.
Wow, that's fast.
Very. And then look at France's Caesar Menke-2, debuted just recently, 2021. It's notable for being lightweight, mounted on a truck chassis.
Making it easier to transport.
Exactly. Air transportable by planes like the A400M or even a C-130 Hercules. Big advantage for rapid deployment forces.
So lots of different approaches. Germany, Sweden, France.
And others too. South Korea's K9A2 Thunder is a major player. China has the PLZ-05. Russia's got the 2S-35 Kolizia SV. Poland builds the AHS Crab. South Africa has the G652 Rhino.
Yeah.
It's a diverse field.
Okay, so with all that variety, tracked, wheeled, light, heavy, automated, where does the M109A7 really carve out its niche? What's its strength?
I think the M109A7 holds its own as a really robust tracked system. The focus is clearly on survivability on a heavy battlefield, and as we talked about that, extensive commonality with the Bradley. That's huge logistically.
It's more of an evolution then, building on a proven design.
Exactly. It's leveraging decades of experience with the M109 platform. Now, the U.S. Army did cancel that really ambitious extended range cannon artillery program, ERCA, the XM1299.
Right, that was in March 2024, aiming for super long ranges.
Yeah, extreme ranges. They ran into engineering challenges, mostly with the barrel life under that kind of stress.
Yeah.
But the key thing is, the base M109A7 platform, the Paladin, was always designed with extra room.
Room for what?
Trade space for weight, they call it. And all that extra electrical power we mentioned. That foresight means it inherently has room to grow to integrate new tech later on.
So it's adaptable.
Very adaptable. For instance, just last November 2023, BAE Systems and DVCOM AC successfully fired the new XM1155SC guided projectile from a standard M109 Paladin.
What's significant about that?
It was the longest distance ever achieved for a guided projectile fired from a Paladin. So even without ERCA, they're still pushing the range and precision capabilities of the existing platform. It shows the Paladin has long-term viability, even if some bleeding-edge programs get adjusted.
Okay, that adaptability point seems really important, which brings us to the bigger picture, the strategic implications. What does this ongoing commitment to the M109A7 and its partner, the M992A3, actually mean for the U.S. Army's overall readiness, its ability to fight in different kinds of places, different kinds of wars?
Well, this sustained investment, remember that $493 million production contract, plus another big one in March 2024, up to $318 million, just for technical and sustainment support through 2029.
Keeping them running.
Exactly. It basically ensures that the M109 family is going to be the backbone of U.S. Army artillery until at least 2050. That's the plan. They intend to buy all 580 vehicle sets.
So it's a long-term bet.
It's a strategic decision. They're investing in a platform they know works, that's adaptable, and crucially benefits from that Bradley commonality. Even though they canceled the super ambitious ERCA, they're sticking with a pragmatic path. Reliable, upgradable firepower that can actually be sustained in the field for the long haul.
Prioritizing what works and what can be realistically kept modern.
Precisely.
So, thinking about all of this, what does it mean for you, our listeners? How might this continued evolution of self-propelled artillery and the vehicles that support it reshape what ground forces do in future conflicts?
That's a great question to ponder, especially with counter-battery fire getting faster and more accurate and precision munitions becoming more common.
And what about the logistics? Faster firing, longer ranges? Does that create new challenges for keeping these guns fed? Lots to think about there. Well, thank you for your time and for joining us in this exploration of modern artillery systems.
My pleasure. It's a fascinating topic.
If you found this discussion informative, please do remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Global War Watch Network. We'd also love to hear your thoughts, so please share them in the comment section below. And join us over on social media. You'll find all the links you need right there in the description. Thanks again for listening.